Hey nerds, welcome back to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Theories and Conspiracies. I'm Brian from Good Nerd Bad Nerd, and this week we had episode 2, The Purpose in the Machine. Now, the machine is, of course, the Kree monolith that we've been guessing about what it is for a while now because we had that nice the end of season break. But we finally got confirmation that it is a transportation device, presumably of Kree origin. And this was confirmed with, obviously, the team getting Simmons back, but when Fitz found that sand that was older than the Earth by a billion years, that's a pretty strong indicator that this is not a planet in our solar system, and most likely is one of the Kree outposts, if not the Kree homeworld. So that, I think, is pretty well sorted out. We're not going to get too much more on what the planet is until Simmons starts filling in what she saw, what her experience was. But we do know that, yes, it is going to be a Kree planet of some sort. Now, what was Simmons being chased by? I think that is another big question related to the monolith. And again, we don't know too much. When you look through the comics to try and see what kind of animals or creatures related to the Kree could be on that planet, there's just not much to go on. The only thing we know that the Kree use to protect certain areas is the Sentry. The Sentry are giant robots. They look very similar to the Sentinels that you would see in X-Men, but most likely not that. It would be unusual for a Kree Sentry to be hunting by the scent of blood. So I think we're looking at some sort of alien animal for the most part. But again, once Simmons gives us more, hopefully in the next episode, but once she gives us more, we'll have a better idea of what we're looking at. Now, the Inhumans have an ominous past of some sort. Professor Randolph, who the team called in to help them solve the riddle of the monolith, when he heard the name Inhumans and that Daisy was an Inhuman, he kind of got a little freaked out. It's hard to know what this could be a reference to. In the comics, there is a prophecy that the Kree Empire will be destroyed by the Midnight King, and the Midnight King will be a creature of their own making. This is most likely a reference to Black Bolt. Black Bolt being the king of the Inhumans currently. It's a little complicated, but Black Bolt most likely represents the Midnight King. I mean, visually he looks like that. He's all in black. He's the king. It makes a lot of sense. And in the War of Kings series, he does take over the Kree Empire for a while. So the relationship between the Inhumans and the Kree is complicated. And the Asgardians, being a alien race, would be familiar with all of these people, and they might know of the troubled past associated with the Inhumans and the Kree, and probably how it ties into the Celestials and the Eternals and the Titans. And there's so many interconnected alien races that it makes sense for him to kind of be wary. But there's also possibility of events that took place on Earth in the past that we're going to find out more about. It'll be interesting to see. Hopefully Professor Randolph sticks around and we get more of that, because they definitely left that open. So for him to just be gone, I think would be a shame. Now, moving on, the next big thing, and this was huge, was the reveal of this trust fund kid that Ward had kidnapped, and that he is the son of Baron von Strucker. Now, if you watched the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. after show last night, I came out and said that I thought he was going to be Andreas von Strucker, which Andreas is a complicated character with just a crazy background. He's a twin. He has a twin sister. They were experimented on in utero and were given kind of bioenergy powers, so they can basically shoot energy blasts out of their hands. But the problem is they're like Marvel's version of the Wonder Twins, if the Wonder Twins were white supremacist Nazi freaks, I guess, is the best way to put it. So he's got a really bizarre history. At one point, after his sister dies, he's brainwashed by the Purple Man. And the Purple Man we will be seeing in the Marvel Universe. He's going to be a villain in Jessica Jones, being played by David Tennant. Purple Man brainwashed him at the request of his father, Baron von Strucker, to make him forget about his sister. But the weird thing is, in order for him to still be able to use his powers, the Purple Man brainwashed him to skin his sister alive and turn her skin into the leather hilt on his sword as swordsman. So yeah, he's got some issues to deal with. he could use some help there. But all of that being said, that's probably not the son of Baron von Strucker that they're going with. He does have another son. The half brother of Andreas is Werner, and Werner is basically just a pretty normal guy. He's the oldest child. He takes on the role of Baron von Strucker, not Wolfgang von Strucker, obviously, but he, in honor to his dad, he shaves his head and takes on that role after his death, and he leads Hydra for a little bit. So that actually is most likely the direction they're going, and the actor they got playing this von Strucker looks similar to the character in the comics. So that makes a lot of sense, and it's a much easier character to bring into the MCU than Andreas is, because that's a mess and not even worth getting into. So the last thing, though, is Ward. For the past 2 seasons, I've been adamant that I want him to be Taskmaster or something like that. But watching season 3 and seeing how it's playing out and what he's doing, I've come to the conclusion that he's just Ward. He's not going to be someone from the comics. He's going to be a uniquely MCU character. Now, they may have put him in, like they did with Agent May and Fitz and Simmons, into the S.H.I.E.L.D. comics at some point. But Ward is going to be Ward. I really don't think... I really wanted him to be, Taskmaster or Constrictor or something like that. But I think at this point, Ward is just a completely original sociopath that they made up for the MCU. He's lost it, and he's all in as insane. So that's where I see us at the end of episode 2 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in this 3rd season. What do you guys think? What do you think Simmons was being chased by? What do you think of Werner or Andreas von Strucker? And are you okay with Ward just being Ward, or do you really want him to be someone from the comics? Let me know. Hit me up in the comments below and tell me what your theories are for this episode. Make sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at GoodNerdBadNerd. And don't forget to check out the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. after show. You can I'll put that link in the notes. And stay tuned, because we are doing character highlights. Last week we did Lash, and this week we did Taskmaster, just to kind of give you a refresher on who he is, just in case Ward happens to be him. So until next week, this has been Brian from Good Nerd Bad Nerd, and this has been Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Theories and Conspiracies.